TaxAct can think of a million things more fun than filing taxes. TaxAct is going to name some now. Sitting in traffic. Folding a fitted bedsheet. Listening to your coworker talk about his fantasy team. Digging a hole. Digging an even larger hole next to that original hole. Unfortunately, TaxAct's filing software can't make taxes fun. But TaxAct can help you get them done. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing The Reluctant Royal, which originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Saturday, March 8th, and is currently available to stream on the Hallmark Plus streaming platform. Hey, you can keep up with us after the podcast over on Instagram. You can find us at Girls Gone Hallmark.
Looking for a Facebook group? We just got a really high compliment from somebody who said, congratulations on building such an awesome community of listeners. And a lot of those listeners are over on Facebook in our Girls Gone Hallmark Facebook group. If you want to give us a join, please come do so.
Yeah, that's the best place to find your fellow Girls Gone Hallmark listeners. This is really important right now. A lot of people have asked. Our final episode of The Way Home Mailbag is airing this week, and many people have written in to say, will the mailbag episodes continue? Friends, that is on you. We would absolutely love to continue the mailbag episodes, but
we'll do our part.
Short of having AI write us emails and leave us Instagram comments, we can't do it without you. And so we would love to continue to hear Wendy's not rolling it out. No, I promise that every email and comment we've read has been written in by a real person to the best of our knowledge. But you can email us. You can email us about the movies that are on, about these royal movies. If you caught your favorite movie on Hallmark, email us about that. Email us about thoughts you have on our podcast, whatever you want, Hallmark or related. If you heard news about a Hallmark star, if you just want to chat Hallmark, drop us an email, girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com, and we will get those listener mailbag episodes rolling just as soon as you make it possible for us to do so. I do believe Wendy has some Hallmark news.
Hallmark news. The Chicken Sisters will make its Hallmark Channel debut on March 30th. That's Sunday. They're going to be taking over that coveted When Calls the Heart time slot. The 8-episode season originally aired during the fall on Hallmark Plus. In addition, several production trades have reported that a second season of The Chicken Sisters will begin filming next month, but no official confirmation yet from Hallmark. I have a question for you. Where do you think the second season is going to end up in terms of where it will be aired?
Oh,
since it originally aired on Hallmark Plus, and like Hallmark Plus seems to be in some kind of limbo, do you think they're going to put a second season back on? I know I asked you the question, but here's my answer. I think they're going to see how The Chicken Sisters plays on Hallmark Channel.
yeah, good point, because they have a little bit of time. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a Girls Gone Hallmark listener, because it's dropping on Hallmark Channel Linear, we're going to re-air those episodes. Those are not brand new episodes, but if you're just now catching it, we are going to re-air those episodes as they drop on Hallmark Channel. So if you can follow along with our recaps here in real time, but actually from the past.
But from the past, it's like our own The Way Home over here.
That's right. Let's move on to a synopsis of The Reluctant Royal.
Philly mechanic Johnny is surprised to learn that his long-lost father is a duke. But the duke isn't quite what he expected, nor are his growing feelings for the duke's advisor, Prudence.
The Reluctant Royal was directed by the talented Kevin Fair. For Hallmark, Kevin directed last year's My Dreams of You and For Love and Honey, also starring Andrew Walker. Postables will likely recognize his name from the Signed, Sealed, Delivered franchise, where he directed the majority of the films. Outside of Hallmark, Fair recently directed Mormon Mom Gone Wrong, the Ruby Frankie story for Lifetime.
Watched it.
Isn't it a rough watch?
It is a rough watch, but it also stars. She was in several of the Signed, Sealed, Delivered early movies too. She played like the police officer or detective Emily
Ullerup.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. Wow.
Does she play Ruby Frankie?
The Reluctant Royal story comes from Samantha Herman, a seasoned writer and producer with an impressive list of credits. Her past story credits include 'Tis the Season to Be Irish, Game of Love, and A Christmas Tree Grows in Colorado.
The teleplay comes from longtime writing duo Neil and Tippi Dubrovsky. It's been a while since we've seen their work on Hallmark. Their last script was Love Strikes Twice in 2021. They've also written You Had Me at Aloha, several Wedding March movies, and a favorite of ours, Love on the Air.
Do you remember Love on the Air?
I loved Love on the Air. Allie
too.
Sweeney.
So good. Andrew Walker takes on the role of Johnny Payne, and let's be real, he's a Hallmark fan favorite. In 2024 alone, he starred in 5 movies for the network, including the 3 Wiser Men sequel, Jingle Bell Run, and 2 Curious Caterer movies. Plus, he's not just in front of the camera. This time, he's also serves as executive producer on this film.
Emily DeRaven plays Prudence. Emily is probably best known for her roles as Claire on the series Lost and Belle in Once Upon a Time. This is her first role for Hallmark.
Simon Corey plays William, Duke of Glasswick. Simon has 32 acting credits dating back to 1992. He has appeared in projects like Vikings and The Tudors.
Fia Koons takes on the role of Alistair Covington Breed. You might recognize him from Vikings, Game of Thrones, or the series Younger.
Michael James Ford plays Jeffers. This is his second project for Hallmark, previously appearing in Christmas in Notting Hill in 2023. Why can't I place that movie?
Because we
Christmas
didn't
in
watch
Notting
it.
Hill. We didn't review that, did we? Mm-mm. It's like, I think the poster, I see big red bus.
Yep.
Okay.
Michael Glenn Murphy takes on the role of Finchy with 17 acting credits to his name. This marks his first appearance in a Hallmark movie. And let's take a quick break before we come back with our first impressions.
Tired of listening to the same old playlists or podcasts over and over? Maybe it's time to mix things up. Try something new. Hit Explore. Avoid the blah and the boring before you even put your headphones in. Add some fun in the mix. Say yabba dabba doo to a bowl of Pebble cereal and enjoy by the spoonful. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereal. Less blah, more yabba dabba doo. Head to your nearest grocery store to buy Pebble cereal today. The Flintstones and all related characters and elements copyright and trademark Hanna-Barbera.
You don't wake up dreaming of McDonald's fries. You wake up dreaming of McDonald's hash browns. McDonald's breakfast comes first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What was your first impression of The Reluctant Royal?
Nothing screams royal privilege like looking down on a guy just because he knows how to fix a car.
Along the same line, we've said in the past that douchey Andrew Walker is our favorite Andrew Walker, but I'm a pretty big fan of blue-collar mechanic Andrew Walker, too.
Yeah, this one had me fired up a little bit.
Yes, I agree. A little behind the scenes, Wendy and I did the briefest of debriefs on our thoughts on some of the movies we're reviewing today and comparing royal movie to royal movie, and I think we're going to have opposite takes on both this week's and next week's movies.
I think so.
So what did you like about The Reluctant Royal?
Okay. Let me just say, overall, enjoyable.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was great, though. I thought it was good.
So I think for you and for me, it's going to be really hard to get a royal movie that we love.
Totally fair.
So I think I'm having to acknowledge that, I have some royal prejudice in my heart. But I think if you're rating this as a royal movie, did it stand above some others you've seen?
Yes.
Okay.
It
It's
did.
okay if it didn't.
No, it did. Because I'm trying to I'm trying to like think of what other royal movies I've seen and disliked.
I mean, you still have like Alistair, the cousin or whomever he is. I forget how he's related, who's like this evil royal and his mother, and they're trying to take over the duchy. You know, that's still, the silliness still exists.
It does. Can I stop you there? The word duchy.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
What is that?
Is it like kingdom?
I don't know. All I can think about is that reggae song, which is, the word is not duchy, it's past the duchy on the left hand
Okay,
side.
that's not what it means. It's the territory of a duke or duchess, a dukedom. So it is like a kingdom.
A dukedom. That's a word too?
Not according to the AI generated.
Wow. So the duchy is like the area.
Yeah.
We're going to save the duchy with my green juice. Okay.
It's not green.
I know, it's just juice in general. Fresh juice. Did you see? I'm going to say it here, and I know it's not in my did you see that, but when they were tasting the juice, like the beet juice, like they literally, their mouths were super red.
Oh, I didn't notice. That's funny.
They're like, this is delicious. Okay. I have a long list of things I liked, which might surprise you.
It a little bit does. Let me hear them.
I thought there were some really funny lines in this movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones was, I'm just a guy sitting in front of an eel wishing it was a donut. Which I found so relatable. So many levels. Some of the lines were really, really funny. And Walker's great at like delivering those lines.
Yeah, when he shoots back, the Duke's like, I suppose the world needs mechanics. He's like, yeah, probably more than Dukes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so then that leads me into Johnny and Alistair's verbal sparring at the dinner table. Very much like last week, we have like dude on dude verbal crime, verbal slurs at each other.
In the royal we.
Yeah, remember it was the kings
Oh, the kings.
that
Yes.
were fighting about spandex and fake hair. This one, like Johnny and Alistair were like going back and forth at each other. I mean, it added a bite to the movie that I enjoyed. And I thought it made it easy to root against Alistair because
Sure.
he was such a dickhead.
I believe we got some really great performances from a few of our actors in this movie. I really liked Andrew Walker's performance as kind of the everyday tough guy mechanic.
Liked it too.
But then he locked right in for that serious moment. When he confronts the Duke, leading up to that moment, he's kind of like this bumbling American, breaking all the rules, does not know how to behave. And then he
I
sits
have the
down.
same notes. Go ahead.
He sits down with the Duke, and he is so clear in his message when he's like, why weren't you around? It's not goofy. He's very serious. He's sharing something very personal to him. He's showing that he is a person who is layered, not just a mechanic. And I'm using air quotes here because that's how certain members of the royal family.
Saw him.
Yes. Likewise, Simon Corey as William, the Duke of Classic. When he comes upon Andrew and Andrew's fixing the car and they're having a conversation, and Andrew, he's like, you abandoned her. He's like, yes, that was weak. The emotion in his voice as they're having that conversation, I thought they had a great connection. And later on when they're driving the car and he's like, no, I really enjoyed getting to know you.
Yeah.
I thought they had a believable connection. I believed Andrew's emotions. I believed the feelings that this Duke was having upon meeting his adult son. I really enjoyed their performances.
So to piggyback on that, I thought, while I think Jingle Bell Run, like I've talked about it so many times, that's like peak Walker for me.
Sure.
I thought he was great in that. But in this, like we got him being funny, vulnerable, angry, silly. Like it was fun watching him play a character with a little bit of depth. So bravo to him. I thought he did really well on that. Agree. I thought that the scene between Johnny and his dad, like I thought that was so good. Like I was angry that Duke William kind of accused Johnny of like, oh, are you here for money or whatever? And like you said, like he was very clear. Like he's like, no, I just wanted to see if I could have a relationship with you. Here I am. Here
I just want
being-
answers.
I'm being vulnerable. Yeah, I thought that stuff was really good. Really, really good.
Do you think Andrew Well, I'll say, I think Andrew leaned really hard into some of the scenes in a great way. I mean, when he's doing karaoke, he is doing karaoke. I thought it was like, that was really fun to watch. When he's in the back of the cab on the way to the duchy, on the way to the manor for the first time, and the cab driver, who ends up kind of being a buddy of his, he's kind of joking with him about how it's not going to go as well as he thinks he is. And he does this like laugh, like he's laughing along with the cab driver. And I just thought he was great. I agree. Jingle Bell Run is kind of the performance to beat, but this did not disappoint.
It didn't disappoint. It's funny. Like I said, like I thought he was really good. Like it was fun to see him in kind of those sillier moments doing karaoke. And as I'm watching this, like I would rather die than get up in front of a group of people and sing karaoke. And then I'm watching this and I was like, okay, Andrew Walker was probably like a theater kid in high school. And like, this is where he's
shined.
at most home in front of like all these people doing all like fun, silly stuff.
That's funny.
I was like, that's why I wasn't.
I liked Andrew's relationship with his mother, and when he says to her, "You were the two best parents any kid could ask."
Yeah,
I thought that was
good
really
line.
sweet. But I would like to call it Emily DeRaven here. Everyone knows I was a Once Upon a Time fan, and her bell in that is iconic. It's one of the lead roles. I really like her, and I think it was great casting. Like I think she fit the role really well. I think she and Andrew, if we're going to talk about Jingle Bell Run, if you want to talk about like Andrew and Ashley's chemistry versus Andrew and Emily's chemistry, it's softer here. Like Andrew and Ashley.
By a lot.
Yeah, I agree. But Andrew and Ashley are both kind of like fireworks, sparky personalities on screen. And that's not who Emily is. And I think it makes sense for her to be playing this caretaker. I don't know what her exact role is.
Caretaker sounds good to me.
Her role requires her to be very rule oriented and very true to tradition. And I think she's a good fit for that role.
Would you like to see her in more Hallmark stuff?
I think there's a place for her.
I think there's a place for her too. I had read a lot of stuff from fans leading up to this movie, and then people were so excited about her being in this movie. I mean, I never watched Once Upon a Time because that's not my bag, but I did watch Lost, but that was a long time ago too. And so I like knew of the actress, but I was like, whatever. Like, I mean, I thought she was fine. Mm-hmm. She served the purpose in this role. Like,
and she's definitely a secondary character. I mean, Andrew and Simon are really the lead roles here, and that's the relationship to root for.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Which is kind of a fun and unique take because we always get like from the princess POV. And I know he's not a princess, but you know what I mean? Especially in a royal movie or in a lot of Hallmark movies, it's from like the woman's point of view. So it was nice to see it was about him and his dad, and she was the secondary. Their romance was super secondary.
Yeah, and she has some great moments when she shows up at the bar and like throws his suit at him, and she's like, "You're not going home. Like, you're showing up for the people." She has some nice moments in their kiss. I think Andrew executes on-screen kisses quite well.
Yeah, I do have some wishes about their like romance, but
Any more likes?
I have a few more. Are you just not even going to mention a shirtless Andrew Walker?
I mean,
Is this a first?
I didn't really realize that Andrew Walker looked like that.
Ripped?
Yeah. In my mind, he's like a dad. He's like a married dad. And here he is like,
Jacked?
he's like
Sorry, I
like
can't help it.
studly. Like,
Yeah.
which I hate that word. It's not a word I would normally use. But yeah, it was nice and used to appropriate effect.
Perfectly. I did think it was weird though, because I'm going through my memory. I cannot remember a Hallmark movie where we have a shirtless dude. And it wasn't just like a quick, like I'm putting on a shirt and you maybe see like the smallest bit of my stomach. Bro was standing there for like a good minute with no shirt on.
Yeah, and it fits the character. Just think about the other characters that he plays that it wouldn't necessarily fit for them to be shirtless on screen.
Yeah, the Three Wiser Men. Dad is not.
Exactly.
I mean, he is a firefighter though, or something in that role, right?
Sure.
Like it can work, but okay. I loved Prudence's. Is that how you?
Yeah.
Her ball gown.
Me too.
It looked long, and then at the end when they're running, it was like short. It was cute. And I really like the
It was short?
yeah, it has like a long, like, I don't know what, I don't do
Was it like
fashion.
high-low? Like,
No, it wasn't high-low. It was just like the draping of the dress was like long, but then like it opened to the front and it was a mini. It was short underneath.
oh.
Maybe if she was just standing there, it would like cover and look
Yeah,
long. but
okay.
as she was like running through the
Yeah, that was
like,
a cute. I like the running.
yeah. But I really like kind of like that nude V-neck situation here where it's like
too.
a mesh where it gives the illusion. Thought it was a great dress. This is another small little like, but I love an opening cards, sets the tone.
Oh, yep.
Of this movie. I think a little extra effort in the production goes a long way. Gave it like a whimsical start. I love that. I love that so much.
What'd you wish for?
I really, 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 really hated the poo-pooing on a skilled tradesman.
Yes, indeed. 100%.
It fires me up so much. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I just like it's one thing.
And is that still happening in 2024 royalty?
Okay. So it's one thing. Johnny is granted he lacks refinement
Yes.
a little bit. At first I was like, oh my God, he's such a buffoon. He's not. He's like a very likable, nice guy who doesn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah.
And maybe comes off as a little bit of I don't even want to say childish. Like, I just think he lacks
I
refinement.
think he's a little aimless.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But the highbrow disdain for like,
Yeah, it's gross.
I hate all of that. And I was like, is that what happens? Is that,
Yeah, you're not good enough to
do they
be here.
really think that? Well, I mean, they must.
Look, in Downton Abbey, one of my all-time favorite shows, one of the sisters marries the driver and it's scandalous. And like they come around, like he ends up being part of the family, but it is a challenge. Now, granted, that's 100 years ago. Is that still the way modern day royals feel? Or I'm not so sure that the Duke felt that way about him. The Duke,
Questioned his motives at the beginning.
as I think you might question anybody showing up at this point in time, but it was really just Alistair who had skin in the game, who wanted to knock this guy down a few pegs. But yes, I hated it too. It was gross. But like you said, it gives you someone to root against, and it makes it very clear that Alistair is the villain here and not someone that there's no chance that we're gonna end up handing
He was
the
so
dukedom to him.
He was so awful to Johnny. I just didn't like that. Didn't like it. Also, if Johnny comes in, he's legally going to like be the heir to the Duke, right? Now, yes, Alistair wanted that position based on I don't know what, because he was the
only
like-
other living heir.
But isn't there some formality there where there's like a level of hierarchy? Like Alistair, now knowing that Johnny is going to be like the heir to the Duke, like Johnny has to like treat him with some sort of like respect.
Oh, probably. But I think Alistair was questioning whether Johnny was legitimate the entire time. Like they were trying to find a reason why Johnny wasn't. Alistair hadn't accepted Johnny
Got it.
as
Good point.
the new Duke. And in the end, Johnny isn't the new Duke. He's just the heir because the Duke decides, I got a little more fight left.
He's
in me."
now he's got more life in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of references in this movie to Andrew's hair.
Oh, being tall.
It didn't bother me.
I was when it was mentioned, I like looked at it. I was like, it's not anything that's
like
like
it's maybe a little longer than his normal, like slightly cleaner. I liked it. I don't know if you saw. There's a clip the Deck the Hallmark dude's talking about his hair.
no.
And I don't know if they were referencing this. I think opinions were a little bit split on how people felt about this. Maybe they're referencing a different haircut. I don't know. Well, I think it falls a little flat because he looked good.
Well, I'm just
They're
trying
like,
to
your hair is very tall. I was like, but it's not that tall.
Well, it looks good. I was trying to remember on Curious Cater, didn't we talk about that recently? Like his hair was a little bit longer
Perhaps I don't recall.
and kind of like down more. And then this one, maybe they wanted it more up. So his hair is a little bit longer. So therefore his hair is like sprayed up, higher. Whatever. I liked it. It didn't bother me one bit. It bothered you? It was in your wishes?
It was only in my wishes because I didn't have. It was just like a question, like not that I didn't like it.
Got it. I have a question. So at that dinner where Johnny and Alistair are like sparring, and then Johnny like looks over to his dad, and he's like, I'm in, right? So is he doing it out of spite in this moment because he can't stand Alistair? Or like what's his motivation here?
I don't know.
It just made me, I was like, that's the whole reason that's pushing him to do it, not because of like the relationship with his dad or that his dad's health might be failing. Like, did Alistair push him into?
Well, I think maybe he's like, this is the alternative for this. Like, this is my family's legacy. And he's like, well, I'm not leaving this behind.
That's good. I like that perspective.
I don't think he came in like, I want to be the next Duke. But when he realized, I don't want him to be it either.
Good. I have one more or one more wish. One more wish. And I mentioned it before. Like I said, I thought Emily DeRaven was fine. She was very funny in a dry way.
Yeah.
I really appreciate like
A British way.
I love that. But there was no smolder between them. And for me, after Jingle Bell Run, it's hard not to expect sparks in a Walker romance.
I hear you. Let's do Did You See That?
Okay.
I have 3 very tiny thoughts.
Go ahead.
One, Andrew's Auga ringtone. Did you notice?
It reminded me of that Callista Flockhart show.
Ally McBeal?
Yeah, they did it a lot in that show too.
Oh, that's funny. That is my mother-in-law's ringtone.
What?
Trust me.
Wait a minute. I might be like short-circuiting here. Because did you watch Ally McBeal? Where they had, like,
but it
that
was a
dancing baby and it would go, ooga. Right,
Oh,
right?
no, it was
Am
going,
I wrong?
ooga shaka, oog, that one.
You're right. That's
This was
what
like
it
an
is.
old-timey horn, like, auga.
yes,
like
you're
the kind
right.
of horn you would like honk with a bulb.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Anyway, I just, as soon as it went off,
mother-in-law's ringtone is that
I think
as
it's her
well?
text tone.
Oh boy, that would drive me bananas.
Look, silent is the only way to be. Silent plus vibrate. There was at one point where the background music is like almost Jaws style. Like it's like do do do.
Oh, really?
There's something happening with Alistair. I thought it was very funny.
I didn't notice. That's funny.
And finally, at one point, Prudence is looking at Johnny's Instagram profile early on upon him arriving at I don't know if it's a castle or a manor or whatever they are. And although it took, no joke, 6 separate tries for me to pause on that screen because Hallmark's Plus rewind feature blows, I did pause because I was like, I wanted to see if there's any actual Andrew Walker Instagram photos. There weren't, but the profile is mechanic and air guitar specialist.
Oh, that's funny.
Made me laugh.
That is funny. Have we ever seen Walker sing in a movie before?
I don't know, but it was great.
I thought it was
I
really
was like,
good too.
His karaoke performance was solid.
Well, I want to talk about the karaoke performance, but he does sing later in the movie too at one point, and I can't remember what the scene was. It wasn't karaoke though. It was just nice to see. It was just fun.
Very
it was
fun.
The karaoke scene now, he had a magic microphone that when he moved it away, his voice output was still the same volume as when the microphone was in front of his face. Obviously, like, that's a editing
Magic of movie making.
Yes. So much juice talk in this movie. And did you know that he owns a juice company in real life with his wife?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I wrote about it in our Andrew Walker.
He's also the face of Envy Apples.
Yeah, and he has a skincare company too.
I did know the skincare company.
Skin does look great. Yeah, but he has like a fresh juice company.
Well, look at
I
that.
can't remember what it's called offhand, but they live here in LA. I think you can get them in LA. I just thought it was funny that it was just like this weaved into.
That
I
is
wonder
funny.
if like there was no mention of his company specifically, but I was like, I wonder if because he's EP was like, look, I'm passionate about juice, so I think it'd be fun to like put this into the
maybe
movie.
in there.
My last Did You See That was thanks to Reddit. Somebody pointed this out. I went back and looked at it. When Prudence is taking Johnny to his room and it's real blue.
Uh-huh.
In the background, there is a hanger and it has a dark yellow jacket on it. And then in the scene, he goes did somebody iron my clothes? And then all of a sudden where that jacket was, his like dark clothes that he's referencing
funny.
are hanging there. So I missed it, but thanks to Reddit, somebody pointed it out. Also, one more. Also, thanks to Reddit, there is a scene where they go to the ball at the end, and right in the like sliver, like the 1/4 of the screen, you see like a violin player. The bow's not even touching the strings. Super funny. Super funny. One final thing, and this was not like a true did you see that or anything, but Prudence talks about how like the forged signature has a smudge because like I think a lefty like has signed it.
No, it doesn't have a smudge because the Duke is a lefty, and had he signed it, it would have been smudged.
I remember this same storyline in Scandal. Oh, they like caught somebody because there was like a smudge situation because it was left-handed. Yeah. Anyway,
What did you rate The Reluctant Royal?
solid 3.5 stars.
Same, 3.5 stars.
See, this is so funny. Like our ratings ended up being the same, but you think I don't like this movie.
I don't actually think you don't like this movie after listening to you talk about it.
I did like it. I don't think I ever said I didn't like it.
I was saying before we started that I thought this was the standout royal movie, and you're like,
I'm still making that face, guys.
because we're rating these on different scales. I'm saying for a royal movie. It's
All
not the
vibes.
standout Hallmark movie of the season.
All vibes.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. If you love this podcast, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. And y'all, you can leave a review in the Apple Podcast app, even if that's not the app you use to listen to this podcast. We'll be back next time with more Hallmark reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product.
Nordstrom is here to help you dress in a way that feels totally you with the best spring styles. From boho dresses and matching sets to must-have bags and sneakers. Discover thousands of items from lots of your favorite brands like Mango, Reformation, Veronica Beard, and Farm Rio. It's easy too, with free shipping and returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today, in stores and at Nordstrom.com.
Tired of listening to the same old playlists or podcasts over and over? Maybe it's time to mix things up. Try something new. Hit Explore. Avoid the blah and the boring before you even put your headphones in. Add some fun in the mix. Say yabba dabba doo to a bowl of Pebble cereal and enjoy by the spoonful. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereal. Less blah, more yabba dabba doo. Head to your nearest grocery store to buy Pebble cereal today. The Flintstones and all related characters and elements copyright and trademark Hanna-Barbera.
TaxAct knows filing your small business taxes can be a nightmare, like the kind where you're being chased by a giant W-2 form and you're running and running, but you can never reach the submit button. Or something like that. So, TaxAct offers Expert Assist with live tax experts to make filing taxes less scary. Now, you can just have pleasant dreams about being chased by other giant, non-threatening paperwork. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.
Bye.
Nordstrom is here to help you dress in a way that feels totally you with the best spring styles. From boho dresses and matching sets to must-have bags and sneakers. Discover thousands of items from lots of your favorite brands, like Mango, Reformation, Veronica Beard, and Farm Rio. It's easy too, with free shipping and returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today, in stores and at Nordstrom.com.
Tired of listening to the same old playlists or podcasts over and over? Maybe it's time to mix things up. Try something new. Hit explore. Avoid the blah and the boring. Before you even put your headphones in, add some fun in the mix. Say yabba dabba doo to a bowl of Pebble cereal and enjoy by the spoonful. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereal. Less blah, more yabba dabba doo. Head to your nearest grocery store to buy Pebble cereal today. The Flintstones and all related characters and elements, copyright and trademark Hanna-Barbera.
TaxAct knows small business owners can sometimes use a little help with their taxes. That's why TaxAct has Expert Assist, a team of live tax experts ready to answer any questions you may have. Think of them as your own personal sidekick. Not like one of those funny talking animal sidekicks, more like the super smart nerding out on tax code and business casual attire sidekick, but just as helpful and lovable. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.
Nordstrom is here to help you dress in a way that feels totally you with the best spring styles. From boho dresses and matching sets to must-have bags and sneakers. Discover thousands of items from lots of your favorite brands, like Mango, Reformation, Veronica Beard, and Farm Rio. It's easy too, with free shipping and returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today, in stores and at Nordstrom.com.
Tired of listening to the same old playlists or podcasts over and over? Maybe it's time to mix things up. Try something new. Hit explore. Avoid the blah and the boring. Before you even put your headphones in, add some fun in the mix. Say yabba dabba doo to a bowl of Pebble cereal and enjoy by the spoonful. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereal. Less blah, more yabba dabba doo. Head to your nearest grocery store to buy Pebble cereal today. The Flintstones and all related characters and elements, copyright and trademark Hanna-Barbera.
TaxAct knows filing your small business taxes can be a nightmare, like the kind where you're being chased by a giant W-2 form and you're running and running, but you can never reach the submit button. Or something like that. So, TaxAct offers Expert Assist with live tax experts to make filing taxes less scary. Now, you can just have pleasant dreams about being chased by other giant, non-threatening paperwork. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.
Nordstrom is here to help you dress in a way that feels totally you with the best spring styles. From boho dresses and matching sets to must-have bags and sneakers. Discover thousands of items from lots of your favorite brands, like Mango, Reformation, Veronica Beard, and Farm Rio. It's easy too, with free shipping and returns, in-store order pickup, and more. Shop today, in stores and at Nordstrom.com.
Tired of listening to the same old playlists or podcasts over and over? Maybe it's time to mix things up. Try something new. Hit explore. Avoid the blah and the boring. Before you even put your headphones in, add some fun in the mix. Say yabba dabba doo to a bowl of Pebble cereal and enjoy by the spoonful. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereal. Less blah, more yabba dabba doo. Head to your nearest grocery store to buy Pebble cereal today. The Flintstones and all related characters and elements, copyright and trademark Hanna-Barbera.
TaxAct knows small business owners can sometimes use a little help with their taxes. That's why TaxAct has Expert Assist, a team of live tax experts ready to answer any questions you may have. Think of them as your own personal sidekick. Not like one of those funny talking animal sidekicks, more like the super smart nerding out on tax code and business casual attire sidekick, but just as helpful and lovable. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.
Tired of listening to the same old playlists or podcasts over and over? Maybe it's time to mix things up. Try something new. Hit explore. Avoid the blah and the boring. Before you even put your headphones in, add some fun in the mix. Say yabba dabba doo to a bowl of Pebble cereal and enjoy by the spoonful. Fruity and Cocoa Pebble cereal. Less blah, more yabba dabba doo. Head to your nearest grocery store to buy Pebble cereal today. The Flintstones and all related characters and elements, copyright and trademark Hanna-Barbera.
Did you know 39% of teen drivers admit to texting while driving? Even scarier, those who text are more likely to speed and run red lights. Shockingly, 94% know it's dangerous but do it anyway. As a parent, you can't always be in the car, but you can stay connected to their safety with Greenlight Infinity's driving reports. Monitor their driving habits, see if they're using their phone, speeding, and more. These reports provide real data for meaningful conversations about safety. Plus, with weekly updates, you can track their progress over time. Help keep your teens safe. Sign up for Greenlight Infinity at greenlight.com/podcast.